Welcome in, everyone, and thank you for listening to the 227th ever episode of the Missouri Sports Podcast, brought to you by 106 Apparel and recording from the Revel Advertising Studio in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. I'm one of your hosts, Cameron Albert, alongside my good friend and fellow Mizzou fan, Kyle DeVries. How are you doing today, Kyle?
I'm doing great, Cameron. How are you doing today?
I have to point at you because just like make sure you know your turn to talk.
It's like, okay, you're up now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty well. Did you watch that national championship game last night? It was a real,
that was awesome.
Real heck of a game.
Yeah, that was a great game. You're talking about college football?
Yeah.
I watched the introduction. Like they did a little John Williams composition. That was neat.
Really?
And all the players coming out of the locker rooms, and
Was it stirring? Would you describe it as stirring?
Sure, it was moving.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just basically sounded like Star Wars a little bit. And then, but usually, like pretty much at that point, the game was over. So I stopped watching. I literally watched Georgia look dominant for their first drive, and I was like, okay, I think that's
Seen what we need to see
about
here.
all I need here. And if it gets close, I'll check back in. And it didn't. It never got that way.
Well, obviously, it should have been a rematch. It should have been Georgia-Missouri rematch in the national championship game.
Yeah.
If we wanted to actually have a good game.
That'll forever be like one of the world's greatest mysteries. Memories and mysteries. That's very different words. One of the world's greatest mysteries. How?
And one of my greatest memories.
Yeah, it almost was. How Missouri almost beat Georgia
Yeah.
and didn't.
Well,
And got a false start on the 1 yard line.
did you hear Kirby Smart's pregame talk to the team?
Yeah, I did. You want to try and do your own rendition of that?
No, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
That's
I
not.
don't know how they got that.
That's not family friendly, but it's football friendly.
Oh yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. A lot of bad words.
Yeah, they were fired up though.
They were clearly.
Everybody.
65.
Yeah, that's
to 7.
insane. How does that? I mean, TCU beat Michigan, and Ohio State put up points.
Yeah, like TCU was good. Was pretty good all year.
I don't know. I can't explain it.
They just ran out of steam.
I guess it happens to the best of us. What else? What do we have to talk about this week? We have some football news. Missouri's got an offensive coordinator celebration.
That's pretty great.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about basketball, obviously. Had a loss and a win. We're basically halfway through the basketball season, so there's a lot to talk about there. Before we get into all of that, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a review wherever you listen to us. You can also support us directly on Patreon, patreon.com/Missouri Sports Pod. I've got a few other little news items. We talked about the national championship. Former Missouri Tiger, former Philadelphia Eagle, former Kansas City Chief, Jeremy Maclin is headed to the College Football Hall of Fame. Congratulations to him. Do you have any specific Jeremy Maclin memories?
Have a few. The first Mizzou football game I ever went to was against Nevada in 2007. Jeremy Maclin, I don't even think played after halftime because he had already just put up all the stats in the world. That was a fun one. I believe he still holds the freshman record for all-purpose yards in a season. Yeah, I think would that have been his freshman or sophomore year? I can't remember.
It was his red shirt freshman year.
Yeah.
And then red shirt sophomore year. After that, he went pro.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a weird memory. I remember I was at a relative's house, and I was trying to keep up with the NFL draft because I thought he was going to go in the first round. And so I was really trying to pay attention. I was like on their, like my older relative's like home computer trying to find information on the NFL draft.
Different times.
Yeah.
It was. I remember as a Chiefs fan for sure. Whenever I found out he was going to be a Chief, that's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, I was looking at his pro stats just because he was in the news, and he had 1 year with Philly where he had like over 1,000 yards, like 80 receptions, over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns or something like that. Really solid year. But I don't know. His best memories, obviously, for us are in a Mizzou uniform. He had big games against Illinois. And what's crazy is he probably, I don't know, if he doesn't have knee injury history, he maybe never ends up at Mizzou. But
don't you say that.
We're in the good timeline as far as that's concerned. So congratulations to him, Mizzou legend, College Football Hall of Fame. What do you call that? Inductee.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
In other news, Trajan Jeffcoat is now in the transfer portal 5 days after announcing he was going to return to Missouri for one more season.
Yeah, that was a weird one. Trajan Jeffcoat had kind of an interesting career at Missouri. He's been in Columbia for 4 or 5 years now. He was dismissed from the team maybe in the Barry Odom era. I don't know. Maybe it was Drink's first season.
Yeah.
Was reinstated. The team loved Trajan Jeffcoat. They were so excited when he came back to the team. I don't think I'm going to beat him up for this decision. And considering it almost seemed like he wanted to be in Missouri a week ago. So who knows what's going on behind the scenes. It's really a million things could be going on, but I don't know where he's going to end up. He's from South Carolina. Maybe he ends up going to be a Gamecock. Who knows? But
yeah, literally.
But strange.
Yeah, you could think of several different scenarios that are strange but equally likely. Yeah. He could have. Other programs might have swooped in and tried to get him away from Columbia. Maybe something soured in the relationships in Columbia.
Yeah, somebody pointed out in his kind of thank you Mizzou message on Twitter that he didn't specifically thank Coach Drinkwitz, so there could
who knows? Maybe a rift there.
Who knows?
Never know. But in better news, TyRon Hopper announced he is officially coming. At least right now, we might need to wait 5 days to know for sure, but he is coming back to Mizzou for another year.
It wasn't Gabe Matter on Twitter that announced it this time?
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think we kind of assumed that he would be back, but man, death row, is that what they're calling it? Death row defense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much intact next year.
And next year, Mizzou, the offense might look a little different because Mizzou hired offensive coordinator Kirby Moore. Most recently, he was the offensive coordinator at Fresno State. Last year, they went 10-4 with the 65th best ranked offense, according to SP+. He'd been at Fresno State for 6 years, I think. 5 years as wide receiver coach before becoming offensive coordinator. More of his bio. He played wide receiver at Boise State under Chris Peterson and then followed him to Washington as a graduate assistant. Then made the move to Fresno State. Mm-hmm. That's his whole bio. He's young, hasn't been coaching all that long, especially with much say in the offense, really.
Right.
And it sounds like, based on some of the press conferences and stuff, hearing Coach Drink talk about it a little bit, it seems like he's legitimately letting go quite a bit by making this hire.
As he should, if he's going to hire somebody to be OC.
Yeah. You could kind of, there's a scenario where that goes really poorly, where he hires an OC but then tries to hold on too much.
Still tries to tell him what to do or something like that. Yeah. Definitely the Moore family is a football family for sure. His older brother, Kellen Moore, is a fantastic college quarterback at Boise State and is now the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. And they've had a fantastic offense in the last few years when he's been there. Mm-hmm. Clearly a family that knows a lot about football, about coaching good offense. And, man, this Missouri team needs some kind of injection of offense. And so I'm excited. I think, Fresno State was a pretty high-flying offense, a lot of passing. Probably going to spread them out and just let whoever's playing quarterback just air it out, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, mentioning quarterback, I just really like the idea of new eyes assessing the quarterback situation.
My goodness, seriously.
I think, that might be the best thing out of any of this.
I 100% agree.
No matter what ends up happening, I just feel better getting somebody fresh in there to kind of see what's going
unbiased on. And
not tied directly to any of these guys.
Yes, just to come in there and check Drinkwitz on some of this stuff. It's a great point. I'm all in favor of that.
As we get a little bit closer to next football season, we'll dive a little deeper into maybe we'll hear some more about his coaching philosophy or how he'll call plays or how all that will go down. It's still super early on all of that.
Yeah, but definitely spring is looking like it's going to be really interesting with Sam Horn getting a great opportunity and the new offense being installed. There's a lot of fun stuff to speculate on all offseason.
Is this good enough for you as far as a name? Were you disappointed that we didn't get somebody with a bigger name or a longer track record of success?
Not really. I mean, honestly, I was just pleasantly surprised that we actually hired an offensive coordinator. I think that's something we've been talking about for a while. Even last week, I think we brought up that's a necessary change for this offseason. And if it doesn't happen, I think we're gonna be a little worried. So and maybe a little more than a little worried. So I agree with you 100%. It's great to get someone unbiased in here. Didn't recruit any of these guys. It's just going to take the best player, go out there and try and win with a vastly returning defense and a lot of talent and a team that can definitely win now. It's exciting.
Producer Cameron,
vastly returning. That's not that just didn't really roll off the tongue, did it? Vastly returning defense. It wouldn't have been how you said that. Probably.
They were returning. They are immensely returning. Producer Cameron, are you ready to talk about the SEC Pick'em plus Nebraska?
Oh, sure, why not?
Because we did pick all of the bowl games that SEC teams were participating in.
Yes.
And going into that, you were pretty well out in front, and Kyle decided he would just, regardless of any of the games, just pick the opposite of whatever you picked.
That is true, and it did not go well.
That's shocking that strategy fell flat.
I felt like it's all I could do.
That fell vastly flat as a strategy.
It really did.
So our bowl week, bowl month totals.
Bowl.
Bingo. Cameron got 6, Kyle got 2, I got 12, guest pickers got 11.
Okay,
so
wow.
That brings...
How many did I get?
2.
Nice.
And you were only 2 ahead of the guest pickers, so they actually passed you for second place.
I'd say so.
Oh, wow.
I'm down in Cameron territory now.
Not even, though.
That was close.
Let's hear the final tally.
All right. Cameron Albert got 69. Kyle got 76. The guest pickers got 83, and I got 92.
Wow.
You ran away with that thing.
Just very spread apart.
Just not interesting at all.
Yes. Well, that means if you're watching on YouTube, you see this beautiful trophy with a football on top. It's the SEC Pick'em plus Nebraska Championship Trophy, and I won it the first 2 years. We've been doing this forever. Holy cow. I won it the first 2 years. Kyle won it the third year. The Patreon guest pickers, we instituted that. They immediately just destroyed us at it, at our own game. But I'm taking this as a win for the podcast.
Yeah.
It's going to say Producer Cameron or whatever.
Us versus the field.
On the plaque, but I'm just happy to get it back in-house.
That's exactly right.
And I'll try not to break anything.
Okay.
So congratulations, Producer Cameron, you win.
Thank you.
Well done.
And
start to finish.
You even picked Nebraska a few times and still came out on top.
Yeah, it was only a few times, though, and that's probably what helped me in the long run.
Things got better for you as soon as you knocked that off.
Yeah.
We have another winner to announce. The fantasy football season has come to a close, and if you play fantasy football, you know there was just absolute chaos with the Cincinnati-Buffalo game getting canceled. So there was a lot going on there, and Kyle was in the championship game against our Patreon supporter Parker, and NFL.com basically just said the game's over, and Parker was in the lead, and I was not about to give Kyle a second chance to win the championship. So congratulations, Parker is the champion of our fantasy football league this year.
Do you think Jamar Chase would have scored 8 points?
If that game concluded, I think he was on pace for about 7, so you would have lost no matter what.
That makes me feel better.
So congratulations, Parker. I'll be in touch
Parker,
for your prize, and we'll see everybody on the gridiron next year. And the last thing before we jump into Mizzou basketball is the Tournament of Champions this week. That is the the premier high school basketball tournament in the whole country. It happens here in Springfield, Missouri. We will be there. There's a couple interesting Mizzou-related players that have offers from the Missouri Tigers, so we'll be happy to watch them play and see what that's all about. Aaron Rowe, who formerly of Tolton in Columbia, is now at Link Academy, and John Bowl, formerly of CBC in St. Louis, is with Sunrise Christian Academy. They will both be participating, probably going to be in the championship game. But we're going to record a little preview of that event. If you want to check that out, it'll be in the normal feed shortly. Now let's get on to Mizzou basketball. Mizzou basketball lost to Arkansas 74-68. That was a little bit of a heartbreaker. Mizzou got up early, couldn't hold on to it, and then Arkansas just couldn't miss basically in the second half. Stormed back, took the lead, held on to it. It was kind of anticlimactic, kind of sad, kind of disappointing.
I'd say so.
Missouri was up by more than you'd like to see a lead evaporate.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the first games really all season that we got a nice lead and didn't close it out. But I would say Arkansas looked early on. Arkansas looked exactly how we hoped they would look. It was like a bunch of athletic dudes that can't shoot, and they were exactly that. And
they had nothing going on.
Even
offense.
got some of their best players in foul trouble. I mean, it looked like the plan was everything was going perfectly according to plan. And then they just all became Michael Jordan in the second half, and that was infuriating to watch. Just like, I don't know, possession after possession, they were scoring, whether it was just making a shot the first time or getting second chance points. It seemed like every possession they were coming away with points.
And you mentioned them getting in foul trouble. That was like they basically backed their way into a successful strategy. They were going to go out there with their, all forward lineup that can't really shoot, and they were just going to go for that again. They had just lost to LSU trying that, and we were going to beat them at that game. Jordan Walsh gets in foul trouble, and you think, oh, that's awesome. He's one of their better players. Now they're not that deep. Well, then it caused Arkansas to go to a more traditional lineup with a guy that can shoot on the wing and more traditional bigs down low. And
it just worked perfectly.
Yeah. Like zero credit to the coaching staff, honestly, because they were going to just roll their guys out there and lose. And then when they were forced to make an adjustment because of foul trouble, they
start hitting threes.
Yeah.
Missouri has a rebounding problem, Cameron. I don't know if you knew that.
They only got out-rebounded to Arkansas 40-23.
Oh, that actually seems not as bad as it felt like it was.
It felt somehow it felt worse than that, and I think it's because Arkansas was scoring on every offensive rebound, it felt like.
I don't know. That's going to be an issue. Arkansas clearly looked like the most athletic, long, tall team that we've played by far. Obviously, we played Kentucky, but man, Arkansas just looked like they just close up the passing lanes. They do play good defense. Just those long arms were a problem.
Yeah, they honestly have 4 guys that are like borderline first round NBA draft picks, and counting Nick Smith, who didn't play.
Sure.
But yeah, it's like they really did fill their team with just long athletic wings who are like easy picks for NBA teams who are just looking at like athleticism and wingspan and potential. Mm-hmm. Basically, they'll teach them how to shoot when they get to the league.
Yeah.
Missouri, they were up 25-8 at one point after a 18-3 run, and Arkansas was stuck on 8 for a while. Mm-hmm. I was starting to think like, well, all we have to do is score 60 points in this game, and we'll have the win.
Yeah, it really did feel like we could just kind of maintain the pace we were at some point. Arkansas is not climbing back into this because they're just so offensively challenged, and like you said, they just kind of backed into something unorthodox that they hadn't really done all year.
Yeah, they basically couldn't miss in the second half. 62% from the field in the second half, including 4 of 9 from 3. In the first half, they went 2 for 12 from 3. And then Arkansas went right back out since then and got beat on the road by Auburn pretty handily.
Mm-hmm.
And Arkansas shot 2 of 16 from 3 in that game.
Unreal. We get a rematch next week at home.
Yeah, Pinion only made 1 attempt in their loss to Auburn.
How many threes did he make against Mizzou? Like 4 or 5?
Let me look. 3 for 6. And he made a 2. And 2 free throws.
That was a very frustrating game. They start calling the Hogs. I turn off the TV.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Yeah. And, I mean, I'll give credit. I think the most credit in this game goes to Mitchell and Johnson, the 2 big men that came in and just gobbled up every rebound. And when you have a team that's shooting poorly from 3, that's just going to cause weird situations with rebounding already. And Missouri just can't afford that. And they maybe could if they were making it up elsewhere. But, I mean, where was their... I don't know. Where was their room for Missouri in this one? They really did okay shooting the ball. Missouri shot 51% from 2, 32% from 3. I mean, Hodge, that's where we're at. Des Moines Hodge got shut down.
Yeah, because the
only 6 points.
First game of the year, he had to make a 3-pointer.
Yeah,
had
0 for 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal when one of your scorers like that is just kind of absent. And Kobe Brown was in foul trouble.
Yes.
He only finished with 11 points.
Man, is this 2 games now? It seems like he's kind of been taken out of the game with foul trouble.
Yeah, he came back in okay against Vanderbilt. But, yeah, Arkansas, that one... Yeah.
It wasn't a good one.
But they bounced back. They hosted Vanderbilt, and Missouri beat them 85-82. This game was a little too close for comfort. They were tied at 34 at halftime. Missouri jumped out to an early second-half lead. And we were watching this together, and we were like, when Vanderbilt came back and took the lead in the second half, we thought that was pretty unexpected.
Yeah.
At halftime, it was like, okay, Missouri did not play a very good first half. They just need to make a couple shots, and we'll get a lead and hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like it was going that way,
For
and
sure.
then Vanderbilt stormed back on their own and made it really close. But luckily, Missouri was able to hit their free throws down the stretch.
They did make a ton of free throws against Vanderbilt.
Yes. Missouri shot 31 free throws and made 27 of them.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. It was, I mean, that was basically the only reason they won, because it just felt like, I don't know, they couldn't get things going consistently. They did hit some threes, but the whole game just kind of felt like a struggle, and the rebounding issues continued.
Yeah, I think I wrote down the rebounding. Vanderbilt out-rebounded Missouri 46-27.
Man, that's brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, rebounding has obviously been an issue all season, but it seems just like it's been really amplified in the last couple of games.
Yeah. These bigger SEC teams, I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these SEC teams definitely do play kind of that grinded out style, and they've got a lot of these teams have kind of traditional bigs that, you know, it could be a problem. I honestly thought Sheway was gonna be like the worst matchup in the history of college basketball for us, and somehow we weathered that storm. But
yeah,
I think we're gonna see that basically every game. Gonna have to figure that out, box out, right?
Yeah, you'd think. It should be as simple as that. Although Missouri's having to go to zone a lot on defense, which that in itself creates offensive rebounding opportunities.
Yeah, it just seems like some plays, when I'm really paying attention, I mean, it's like they're not even really thinking about the rebound. It's like they're just kind of standing there sometimes. Like, even sometimes they'll just kind of bounce past guys and they just don't even reach for it. I don't know. It's like that's not happening every play, but sometimes I just happen to notice, like, wow, yeah, it didn't seem like you put a lot of effort into thinking about how I'm going to rebound this.
Yeah, it could be. I could understand maybe a concerted effort to, we're going to lose the rebounding battle, but let's not allow ourselves to get beat in transition.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not worry too much about
just get back.
Let's just always be getting back on defense, and at the same time, let's err on the side of getting a fast break opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're kind of selling out, if you got some guys leaking out for a fast break, then that's going to leave you more susceptible to
That's true.
that kind of rebounding situation. And we're still 13-2. We still beat Vanderbilt, but the rebounding, we have to be hitting on. If you're giving up rebounding, you got to be hitting on some of this other stuff. You got to be hitting on creating turnovers, transition baskets.
Yeah.
And you got to be making your shots.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally Arkansas was turning that into offense. Was like miss and get a offensive rebound and just put it right back up.
Yeah, it reminded me of Missouri had an incredible rebounding team. Okay, Phil Pressey was the point guard, and we had Lawrence Bowers and Alex Oriaki. And a lot of our offense was like off of missed shots.
Yep.
Alex Oriaki and Lawrence Bowers would get offensive rebounds and just put them right back up. That's been every team against Missouri this year.
Yeah.
Let's see. Missouri did get a little bit lucky because Miles Stute for Vanderbilt, he's like shooting 46% from 3 on the season, went 0 for 4 from 3 and 0 for 2 on free throws.
That's the difference.
Yeah. Missouri overall shot 45% from 2, 39% from 3, but again, 87% on 31 attempts from the free throw line.
Yeah. Yeah, that's usually good enough to get it done, but got to tighten up on defense and rebounding. Looked like a good crowd. Another sellout crowd on CBS. It was, they kind of made it feel like a big time game.
Absolutely.
Kind of a strange game to be on CBS. Like I noticed that game was going to be on CBS a few weeks ago, and I was thinking that might be one of the lowest hyped games of Missouri's conference season.
I enjoyed the lead into the game though. It felt like like you said, they made it feel like a big game.
The March Madness theme.
Oh yeah. Kobe Brown did get back on track a little bit. He had 18 points in this game, even though he was in foul trouble a bit. Golston had 18. Hodge had 17. Carter had 16. So good balanced scoring there. Although, speaking of Golston, he missed a dunk late in the game that was about to seal the deal.
Oh my gosh.
And he was just wide open right at the rim.
That was weird.
And missed it. And that was scary.
That would have been awful.
Yeah.
I feel like Kobe Brown was kind of quiet in this game, but I feel like that's what really good players do, is just kind of weather the storm and still do what they need to do despite the foul trouble. And I guess he hit some big threes in the second half, I can remember, but
when you quietly put up 18, you're pretty good. All right, so Mizzou beats Vanderbilt. We move to 13-2 on the season, 2-1 in conference play. Anytime that your conference record is above 500, that's something to celebrate. 39th in KenPom, basically didn't move after the Arkansas loss, and then actually went down a couple spots after beating Vanderbilt. We are now ranked 3rd in the country in offensive efficiency. Incredible. I've got a couple more stats there about the offense. 2nd in effective field goal percentage. 4th still in 2-point field goal percentage. 46th in 3-point shooting. The offense is really firing right now. And it's really those 2 weird games. Kansas couldn't make anything. UCF, they're just a pretty good defensive team with some mismatches. Outside of those 2 games, Missouri's offense has been incredible. It's looking more like those are the outliers, obviously. We thought there was a chance that Missouri was just putting up points against some really bad teams in the non-conference schedule, which was true. Yeah. But it's been very refreshing to see them keep up the efficiency against teams like Illinois, Kentucky.
Yeah. Yeah, I also feel like one pretty important defensive metric that you brought up earlier is they're first in steals.
Yeah. So, the defensive side of the ball is a little bit different story.
But I do feel like that is maybe one of the most important in relation to their style of offense and why they're being so efficient. Yeah. It's so many opportunities
transition
from turnovers. Yeah.
Yeah. Defense overall efficiency 180th in the country, which is
pretty bad. Pretty brutal.
For a top 40 team.
How are they like first in steals and 180th in like, I mean, that just shows you how terrible they are at like some of the other aspects of defense.
Yeah, the shooting percentages that opponents are able to put up have been pretty ridiculous. And also the worst one of any of the stats when you're talking about Missouri basketball this year, offensive rebounding percentage. So the opponents are getting offensive rebounds on 37% of their possessions.
That is insane.
That's good for 356th out of
358.
That's more than that nowadays.
That's true.
Out of 363. Right
That's
there
bad.
at the bottom of the entire Division One.
You could say that's bad.
Yeah. And there's no other Power 5 teams. The next worst is Syracuse, which makes a little bit of sense because zone defense, they only play zone. They're 344th.
Yeah, if you look at some of the top like 30, 40 teams on KenPom, like it's just weird seeing like a 180 next to like any of the teams on offense or defense. I feel like pretty much everybody is single, double digits on both offense and defensive adjusted efficiency. And they just got a 180 for Missouri defense.
Yeah, there's one weird outlier the other direction where Rutgers is third on defense and 129th on offense. But Missouri's still outdoing that discrepancy. Let's see. We got to talk about bracketology. If Missouri is on people's brackets, we are going to talk about it.
Oh, 100%.
6th seed in today's updated ESPN bracketology.
Jerry Palm.
9 seed on Bart Torvik.
He's out of his mind.
Well, he's a computer. His brain is in a computer.
Okay, so he doesn't have a mind.
Well,
maybe that's up for discussion.
Yeah, I'll take the 6th seed, but yeah, 6 to 9. It's still too early to be too definite there. But
did you see Jerry Palm's like bracketology that they came out today? I don't know if that was the ESPN one, but in like Des Moines, it had
ESPN.
Like,
don't disrespect Joe Lenardi.
What's Jerry Palm? Is he CBS?
CBS.
Okay. Oh, I apologize to everybody. That's totally disrespectful. Joe Lenardi is ESPN. Okay. Jerry Palm from CBS.
Yeah.
He had in one of the regions was Kansas was the 1 seed. Kansas State was in there, maybe like a 3 or 4 seed. And Mizzou was the 6, and Illinois was in there.
Yeah.
Like so everyone was just joking about how Des Moines going to burn to the ground.
Yeah. That would be
actually happened.
Incredible, honestly.
Yeah,
I would love something
so
like that.
Exciting.
And then, of course, like we would lose to Kansas State.
Yes, we would. Or we would lose like to some other random team like in the first round.
Yeah. Never even get to the big matchup. One other little tidbit I had on the basketball team here is the last time Missouri got their 13th win in the month of January was Conzo Martin's first year as a head coach. And that tracks. And if we're headed for that kind of, if that just means we're on pace for the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, basically win 1 game a week for the rest of the season, and you should be on the right side of the bubble.
Yeah, we're 1 game above 500 right now in conference play. Go 500 the rest of the way, and you're in the NCAA tournament.
There you go.
Easy as that.
That's all you have to do.
Somebody tell them. That's all they have to do.
Yeah, I'm sure they haven't thought of that.
So what is up next for Mizzou basketball? Up next, we have a road matchup with Texas A&M. A&M is 10-5 on the season, 2-0 in conference play so far. They have a very interesting schedule so far. Let me tell you this, Kyle. Mm-hmm. Texas A&M, 10-5. Their best win so far just happened last Wednesday. They beat Florida on the road by 3. Their where was I going with this? Their worst loss, they have 2 bad losses against Murray State and Wofford, both triple-digit KenPom teams. So they've had a little bit of up and down season so far. I think when they were 6-5 coming off a loss to Wofford at home, things were looking not great for their prospects this year, but they beat a couple bad non-conference games, and then now 2-0 with wins in conference play over Florida and LSU. So really, there's nothing stopping them from winning 10 games in conference play at this point.
Do you know Murray State is in the Missouri Valley Conference now?
I remember hearing they were making the switch.
Yeah. Still a very bad loss. Yeah, what a strange season so far for A&M. Buzz Williams, is he third season there?
I think so.
His little vests.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of vest.
Okay.
Kirby Moore.
Yeah.
Nice looking vest.
Everybody wants to know, where can I get the vest?
Everybody wanted the vest.
Do you want the vest?
Sure.
You'd wear it?
I'd take it.
That would look good. You could wear that to work under your button-ups.
Okay.
Or over your button-ups, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
You could wear it under your button-ups. Imagine you put on a Mizzou vest.
Why are you wearing a life jacket under your shirt? Like everyone's asking me at work.
Yeah, beautiful
great,
vest.
Nice vest. Okay, Buzz Williams.
He wears vests.
He wears vests a lot.
He's coaching the A&M Aggies. What do you need to know about them, Kyle? They are 69th in KenPom, 50th on offense, 95th on defense. And I got bad news for you.
KenPom projecting a loss.
19th in offensive rebound percentage for their offense. 19th in the country.
It's not good.
No.
It's bad even.
Yeah. Bad for Missouri.
Yes.
Their front court, you know of Henry Coleman. He has terrorized us a little bit so far. And then they got a transfer from Michigan State named Julius Marble.
Marvel?
Marble. Yeah. Like the stone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's their front court. And I just have a feeling they're going to have 50 rebounds between the two of them.
It's like they have that every year. Even before Buzz Williams was there, it's like I feel like every A&M team is just this like slow team with like excellent bigs.
Yeah.
And they just muddy everything up.
Yeah.
What's their pace on KenPom?
They are 201.
Yes, that's pretty boring.
Yeah. Let's see. What do they do well on offense? They're not a good three-point shooting team. They don't attempt many threes. They get to the free throw line a ton. They make their free throws. They are trying to get into the paint. They're trying to feed their bigs. Their guards will drive to the basket, get fouled, or make a bucket. So
yeah, kind of just that brutal style. Hey, do you remember those midweek like 8 p.m. games of Texas A&M versus Conzo Martin Missouri teams? Like
we would win some of those sometimes because it was just like who's the
first one to 50.
Yeah, last team standing. Yeah. Ugh. I'm afraid A&M is going to kind of impose their will a little bit in this matchup.
Yeah.
They're at home. They're feeling good. They do give up a high percentage on three-point shooting. Their opponents are shooting 36% from three. So there's an opportunity there. We got to make some shots from outside. Who else do they have? Their guard, Wade Taylor. He's a high-volume scorer, gets to the rim, draws fouls, and is shooting 37% from three on 90 attempts. So he can do it all there. He's a little undersized. Mm-hmm. So maybe we can give him some problems there. I just feel like this A&M team is well-rounded. They're not incredible at anything except offensive rebounding, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But they're good enough at everything else. And it's at their place. I feel like this is going to be a tough one for Missouri.
Yeah, I think this is probably a loss. And I do think that, man, I don't know. A&M is just they're going to have to get out of their shell a little bit. They're going to have to keep pace with Missouri. Unless Missouri they don't score less than like 70 points, you know? Yeah. But I do think that A&M will squeak by. I think it'll be close. It'll probably have some ugly moments. Give me like 72-70 A&M.
Yeah. Their other two conference games, they beat Florida by 3.
Right.
That game was in the 60s. They beat LSU 69-56.
It's pretty surprising, honestly, that they won both of those games. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
Yeah. Their start here. They have the opportunity to start conference play 5-0. They play Missouri, South Carolina, and then Florida again, but this time at home. They already beat them on the road. I think A&M gets this one, unfortunately, and I will say they win 75-71. Too many second chance opportunities, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Producer Cameron, how do you like seeing Missouri just give up second, third, 4 offensive chances every defensive possession?
It makes me feel bad.
I like how when Mizzou's a little bit better, I can count on you to tune in to the games a little bit more.
Well, what do you expect?
Well, yeah.
I'm a casual
We're
fan.
just going
Sure.
off in the Discord about everything.
But then I see Producer Cameron's name pop up. I'm like, oh, yeah, he's paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just do something that I just immediately know is going to drive you crazy. I'm just like, okay, just stop watching. I promise you they're okay. They're actually good.
I feel like that kind of happened with me and my wife in the Arkansas game, where obviously I was watching the whole game, but she was just kind of like hovering, and then like for a little while she'd come and sit down on the couch and watch, and she'd complain with me, and then she would go about her business, and we would just complain about how all the awful rebounding together for a few minutes and then move on.
Yeah, this is only tangentially related, but before the Kansas game, so Producer Cameron and I are coaching a 4th grade basketball team this year, my little brothers, and before the Kansas game, I told our team to try to watch it, because I was trying to get them to watch basketball so they can see how it's supposed to be done. And I told them to watch the Mizzou-Kansas game. Luckily, I didn't tell them like specifically what to watch.
You didn't tell them what time it was on.
I shouldn't have told them anything about it. But none of them watched anyway. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But I just love that when you like hype up your team to somebody and then they just lay an egg.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly how that feels. A lot.
So we're predicting a loss to Texas A&M. But then Missouri's got another road opportunity, this time at Florida. Florida is 8-7 on the year, 1-2 so far in conference play. And what Florida does this year is they beat bad teams and lose to good teams. Their best win on the season just came Saturday in a home win over Georgia. Georgia 93 in KenPom, Florida's best win of their 8. Everything else triple digits. But they've only lost to good teams. They have one loss outside of the top 50, and that was to Texas A&M last week. So who knows?
Yeah.
Missouri's sitting there. If they beat Missouri, that would be their best win of the season so far.
Todd Golden.
Yep, Todd Golden. He was on the short list for a lot of Mizzou fans. We talked about him on this podcast before everybody was hired away, but he ended up in Florida really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody even had a chance to court him. He just ended up there. They're 57th in KenPom, 89th on offense, 34th on defense. Have you heard of Colin Castleton?
Yes.
He's still there.
Quite memorable.
He's still around. They got a transfer point guard named Trey Bonham. He came in from... Oh, I got to quiz you here, Kyle.
Mm.
Trey Bonham. He's transferred to Florida from VMI.
Mm.
What do you think? What does VMI stand for?
Give me Virginia Military Institute.
Wow. Institute. Yeah,
Okay.
Nailed it. Wait, how'd you pull that out?
I just know stuff. I don't know.
Wow.
I like college basketball, man. I don't know.
I had to look it up. I was thinking maybe like Vermont Medical Institute. That's...
Yeah, that could be something.
Would you rather have the point guard that transfers in from Virginia Military Institute or Vermont Medical Institute?
Probably the military one, because I know that exists.
Okay, touche. That's a good point.
I can think of their logo. It's like I think the M is red.
Okay.
I think it's like some yellow and red going on.
Now he's just showing off. It is, in fact.
Congrats, man.
Thanks.
Wow. Look at that logo. That is a beaut.
That is something.
Seen worse.
You've seen worse logos? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
That's like safe bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else plays for Florida Gators? They have a guard named Will Richard who transferred in from Belmont. He's probably their second best offensive threat behind Castleton.
Pretty prolific scorer at Belmont for sure.
He can do it all. He's not an amazing 3-point shooter, but he gets to the basket. Overall, their strength is defense. They're not bad offensively. Castleton, he is really good right around the rim. Really crafty, shot fakes. He's athletic enough and tall enough to dunk on anybody. I mean, I feel like we're going to run into the same rebounding and post-scoring problem defensively that we've had all year.
It does kind of feel like, for whatever reason, Missouri's kind of neutralized him a little bit in like the past few years. But when I watch him play against other teams, he plays really well. You know, he is versatile, can score from anywhere really. Seems like he's been around for a long time, a very experienced college player.
In the Konzo Martin era, we would look at every team and we would be like, okay, do they force turnovers?
Yeah.
And now we go, okay, how's their offensive rebounding?
Yeah. Do they rebound at all?
Yeah.
This could be ugly.
Well, the good news is for Florida, they come in at 297th in offensive rebounding percentage.
Okay.
So,
You're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah. If that's our weak spot and we give up, more than we should, it shouldn't be too many. Although maybe you want a team that's good at that and you can just let them only be good at that. I guess we're about to find out because we're getting both back to back. They don't shoot a lot of threes. They're going to try to get to the rim. They're going to try to get to the free throw line. Both of these teams, if we can defend without fouling, that'll be huge. But these are road matchups.
Could be a little faster paced game at A&M.
Yeah, Florida will move a little quicker.
I still kind of feel like I just see both of these games being as like 45-55 a loss. Like toss-up games that, I don't know, I could see going either way, but for some reason I still just kind of lean like close losses on both of these. Just kind of similar, just tough places to play. It seems like we've never played well at A&M, but we've won a couple games on the road at Florida in the last few years.
Yeah.
Drew
Not
Smith, kind of a legendary layup at the buzzer a few years ago, 2 years ago.
I've liked I don't know. I feel like there's been a decent little Florida-Mizzou rivalry in basketball. They haven't been incredible. They were early when Mizzou was horrendously bad.
Yes.
But in more recent times, it's been pretty even. I don't know what I'm feeling on this one. Florida doesn't scare me, really. I feel like if we can split these games, I'll be very happy. We talked about go 500 the rest of the year.
I'll say a win. Give me 78-74 Missouri. That'd be fun. A little good mojo going into Arkansas next week.
Yeah, let me tell you, Missouri can win this game, honestly, purely from 3-point shooting. That's a spot that so far this year Florida has struggled a little bit defending the 3-point line. Teams are shooting pretty well there. They like to pack it in. They basically want you to shoot over the top of them. I say Missouri's going to get it done. Did you say a win?
I sure did.
Oh, you're just copying me.
You wrote it down.
Yeah. I say Missouri scores. I think they're gonna get out. Florida's gonna try to run with them.
I think they just is a little better matchup. I think for Missouri than A&M. For whatever reason, I'm comparing these games a lot, but I think they'll split, and I think Florida seems like just a slightly better option.
Better matchup.
A little bit better matchup.
Yeah, I think Missouri is going to get 81. I think Missouri wins 81-79. Close game.
I'm not touching that pen. I'm not picking up that pen again.
Yeah, you're throwing it all over the place. Missouri wins a close game, 81-79. I say.
That'd be fun.
Good 3-point shooting. We need a couple. We need Hodge to bounce back. If we want to have a chance in the A&M game, we're going to have to shoot lights out, I think.
Yep.
And get out in transition. Okay, let's split them. Split these games. Everything will be fine. Will we still be ranked if we split these two?
Yeah.
It seems like hovering right around the 20 to 25 spot.
Mm-hmm. That seems like pretty accurate for how good Missouri is, actually, in my mind.
Yeah. Yep, we should be okay. We will officially have passed into the second half of the season next time we talk. Yeah. Arkansas coming back home. That's around the corner.
Do not let Trayvon Brazil tweet again.
Did you see the Arkansas women's team double down on it?
Yes. Hate it.
I don't understand.
I don't get it.
I mean, Missouri gave him a scholarship to come play SEC basketball, and nobody else. He wasn't gonna.
He was gonna be playing at Montana State,
or maybe Cleveland State, Imagine an alternate reality where Missouri doesn't offer him, and Missouri isn't interested in Anton Brookshire, and he goes to Cleveland State, and then Dennis Gates brings him to Missouri.
Comes home that way. Is he still from Springfield?
Yeah. He comes home with Dennis Gates, plays 1 year at Missouri, and then transfers to Arkansas.
Why did you say that? Oh my gosh. And then transfers to Arkansas.
Yeah. I'm sort of convinced. I know nothing about this situation, but I'm convinced that he always wanted to be at Arkansas.
I think you're probably right.
And they just didn't offer him, which...
Yeah, I mean, Arkansas is the Arkansas University is closer to Springfield than Mizzou is, geographically. Yeah. There's a ton of Arkansas fans here.
Oh, yeah.
It's awful.
It's awful. Yeah, it's terrible.
It's awful, terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I just really don't understand that at all. I'm trying to put myself in that position. Like, if Mizzou didn't offer me out of high school, I would really like to go to Mizzou. They don't offer me. So I go to Arkansas. Would I still transfer back to Mizzou? Especially with a different coaching staff?
Would you, if you went to Missouri and were better than everyone thought, and then you transferred to a different school, would you then troll Missouri for being your
that's just
only
wild
opportunity?
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that he just is a silly goose.
He's just having fun,
and he's just being playful. And us fans are just taking
sensitive.
it too hard.
Maybe so.
Yep, that's on us. We're the adults here.
Yeah.
He's just a college kid trying to have fun.
Exactly. Do you think he has NBA opportunities after this season, even with the injury?
Yeah, but it would be more of a grind. I think it would be like.
You think he'll come back for another year?
I think so. Now, if an NBA team's like, here, this is our plan, we're gonna.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's some mystery there. Like he took the next step, in my opinion. In this offseason, he looked really good in the beginning of the year. I feel like some NBA
maybe you want to just let that be the last thing you did in college.
Exactly. Yeah. Who knows? I kind of hope that's what he does. But
yeah, and Nick Smith too, for that matter. Yeah. Okay, so we think Missouri's going to split these games. We already talked about that.
Did you see that Dennis Gates savage thing that he did with the Kentucky recruit?
Is that's a rumor?
That's a rumor.
Okay. If that's true, that's incredible. Supposedly, you can
take it away.
Supposedly, Dennis Gates or somebody in the Mizzou coaching staff that is in touch with the number one recruit in the state of Kentucky in high school basketball, apparently were recruiting him, and before the Kentucky game, supposedly,
allegedly,
somebody from Mizzou's coaching staff reached out to this kid and said, "Hey, watch what's about to happen." And then they beat him. And then Missouri dominated Kentucky.
Unfortunately, so has everyone else.
Yeah,
that's played Kentucky since then.
Yeah,
including South Carolina was dominating Kentucky before we started recording.
Ooh, do we want them to hold on there?
No.
We want Kentucky to win. Right?
We do. We definitely want Kentucky to win.
Yeah, of course, when we beat Kentucky,
is Dennis Gates going to be coaching Kentucky next year?
Oh my gosh, no!
That's what Kentucky fans are saying.
The Kentucky fans are so dumb.
They're just silly.
Ooh, that game.
No,
they're some silly gooses.
The fans are adults. I'm going to call them dumb.
I'm all for that.
I'm going to bring out the strong words for them. Yeah, that's ridiculous. They're going to just by the end of the season, they'll have a list of 12 coaches, and it's just all the teams that Kentucky lost to this year. That's how they're thinking right now.
Yeah.
They beat us, we need to get their coach instead.
I saw Dennis Gates' name, I don't even know if you could say connected to, but just mentioned for the Texas job as well.
Get out of here with that.
Well, I plan to at some point tonight, but
yeah, no. Don't worry, fans. Until you hear otherwise, Dennis Gates,
he's locked in.
He's coaching Mizzou till he retires. That's my prediction.
Yeah. That's usually how it works.
Or he goes to the NBA.
Okay.
Ooh.
I have no idea if that's even interest of his, but he's not going to Texas. Texas deserves misery, I say.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to hire a bad coach and be bad. Or they're going to hire a good coach who gets fired perpetually. All right, are we done here?
Yeah.
South Carolina wins by 3.
Ooh.
The game's over?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh. South Carolina is awful.
Jeez. We can't lose to them this year. Okay, special thank you to our Patreon supporters at the $10 level and above. Britt Treese, Brian Smith, Ryan DeMore, Tristan, Ben Smith, Parker, Daddy JD, Tim Keynes, Tyler Harsel, Brandon Garofalo, Brandon Hanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. We're on Twitter at Mizzou Sports Pod, and you can email us at MissouriSportsPod@gmail.com.
You can find our t-shirts and stickers on our online shop, MissouriSportsPod.bigcartel.com.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We will see you next week after split.